Hi, Zoe.
Hi.
What you doing?
I play coins
You playing with coins? Where are you putting them?
and white green.
Oh, okay. Hello, folks. I am the Atari 7800 Junkie, and I'm coming at you with a response video to Classic Game Hunter's 2000 subscription contest video. And yes, he has reached 2,000 subscribers. I want to congratulate him on reaching 2,000 subs. A number I'll probably never see, but that's okay. I don't do it for the subs. I do it for the love of the games. Basically, he wants people to respond with what are their top 3 arcade games they used to play back in the day, or even, if they play them today. Of course, if they didn't play arcades, arcade ports or whatever. Well, in his rules, you can enter via a text or a comment, not a text, a comment. For 1 entry, you can enter via video for 3. He said you could do both. So basically, my idea was in my comment, I talked about the 3 games that I played at the local mall, which was about 10 or so miles away from where I used to live. Now I live closer, but there's no arcade there anymore. But, I didn't go there that often, so that's why I put that one in the text. I've got more memories with the ones that I played at my local pool, where it had a smaller selection of games. It only had 4, and of course, top 3 would kind of, whittle that down just by 1. But what's kind of weird is that I only played 3 games there anyways. The 4th game was a racing game called Super Hang-On, and you guys are probably familiar with Super Hang-On the Sega Genesis at least. But even though it was a Sega racing game, there was another Sega racing game that outshined it by a whole lot there. And I'll get to that because that'll actually be my number 1. But I'm going to start with number 3 here. And number 3 is a classic fighting game called Mortal Kombat II, which is what he had on his on his list, I believe, at the same number. With Classic Game Hunter, that would be the he. Anyways, yeah. I just like him. I loved the classic get over here. But I really, even though I like playing as Scorpion, I actually like playing as Sub-Zero even more because I loved freezing people and then going over and giving them the old uppercut. I always loved the old uppercut. And that game would just kick my ass till there was no tomorrow. But of course, I'd already played Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat 2 on the Super Nintendo, before this. And when I say that by the time these got to this Pools arcade, it was like 96, 97, 98, which I didn't get a PlayStation until 98 anyway, so, I was more used to the 2D stuff anyways. But I plunked some quarters into this, but not nearly as much as the other 2, actually. But it was still nice to be able to play Mortal Kombat 2 every once in a while. And, I'm going to do something different in this video, too. I'm going to show off Mortal Kombat 2. Now, I just looked through my Xbox, and unfortunately, there's no Mortal Kombat 2 in the MAME menu on there, which is sad. I know. So, as a substitute, I will be showing off a little bit of footage from the Super Nintendo version of Mortal Kombat 2, and that video is going to drop right about now. Alright, folks, as I said, here is Mortal Kombat 2 on the Super Nintendo, and it's been years since I've played this game. I've played more Mortal Kombat 3 with Cyrax, and I'm very used to Cyrax. Now, this game, of course, is not going to be arcade perfect by any means, but since I don't have it on the MAME and I don't have the Midway Arcade Treasures 2 disc, or have the Mortal Kombat Arcade Collection on the Xbox 360 either, I have to go with this version. Zoe, you need to stop touching the chair. I'm going to give myself handicap and make it very easy because I am just terrible. Alright. I'm going to play as Scorpion, even though I played as Sub-Zero in the arcades back in the day. And we go down the Wall of Destiny. It looks like I'm going to take on Raiden first. Love the... I actually did okay this time. This is like take 5, by the way, in case you guys are wondering. You know, I did terribly at first. I had to get myself acquainted with the game again. Jeez. Come here, get over here. Yeah, I don't remember any of the fatalities. That clicking noise you hear is from one of Zoe's cars. And yes, she's watching this. Does that make me a bad dad? I don't know. Probably. Somehow I still won. I'll play till the end of this round either way, and then, yeah. And then we'll go on to the next game of my series. Yep. Hey, there we go. So yeah, that's Mortal Kombat 2 on the Super Nintendo. It says "come here" instead of "get over here." You know, it's a little bit more muddled and whatnot, but I'm sure I'll get a 90. I can't even say that word. I'm gonna get defeated here by Kung Lao. Anyways, we'll go on to the next game, my number 2 from the arcade that I used to play right about now. Alright folks, now we're on to the next part of the video here, and on to my number 2 game that I played at my community pool, and it is the same game that was Classic Game Hunter's number 2, NBA Jam. And of course I'm showing off the Genesis cartridge here, because that's the only actual NBA Jam I own. But, you know, just all the time that I played on that machine was basically because it looked and sounded better than what I had been playing at home on the Super Nintendo. Now, back in the day, I had the original NBA Jam. I eventually got this game as well, NBA Jam Tournament Edition, which is an even better version of NBA Jam, in my opinion. Never played Tournament Edition in the arcades, but we had the original at the pool, and I just plunked quarter after quarter after quarter into it, mainly because it took 8 quarters to finish a full game, but also because it was just fun, and it was... You know, it was better than what I could play at home, so it was, you know, the arcade experience just made it better, I guess, for me. I do have this on my MAME emulator on my Xbox, so I'm going to show footage from, excuse me, from the arcade version of NBA Jam right about now. Alright folks, this is NBA Jam, the arcade version via the MAME on the Xbox. And I gotta get used to the controls on here. They're certainly different than, say, playing on the Xbox 360. Now, it seems like, actually, it seems like everything's moving smoothly here. Another video where it was... Ah, see, I did not mean to shoot. No, I just accidentally paused it, too. I've got to be heating up. The black button on the Xbox pauses it, and I'm accidentally pushing it. Yeah. It does seem like it's moving smoothly, and I had a test run before I did this where it wasn't moving smoothly at all. But it does still be moving slower than, say, the arcade, or certainly slower than the Super Nintendo version. Maybe that's all I'm really basing it on. I'm on fire again. And going back and playing the arcade version of this, I actually like the Super Nintendo version better now. Back then, I, thought this was the shizit. But it's okay. It's fine. That was terrible. Terrible defense. I'll play through a quarter here, then we'll get back to our video here. Nice. Love the hook shot. I don't know why I'm playing as Gil, by the way. I'm meant to be playing as Johnson. But there's no tag mode in this like there is in the Super Nintendo or Genesis versions. I meant to shoot it. Oh well, I was winning in the first quarter. That's good enough for me. Yeah, I think I'll actually go back to the Super Nintendo version. It's just, music here is okay. Oh well. Now back to the video. Alright, now welcome back to the main part of the video. And now to the game that basically got me into racing and driving games as a whole, as an entire genre. Because really before I played this in the arcade, it was just kind of, I wasn't really into it too much. I had played some pretty bad racing games before this, with the exception being Super Mario Kart. I was into that pretty much since it came out in '92. But, the fact that I didn't play this game till the mid-'90s in the arcade, the fact that they had this arcade machine, just made it great. And it is the incomparable OutRun. I think I used the same describer for NBA Jam, but, I can't get enough of this game. I play it on the Genesis all the time, and it's just great. And I think I've got the MAME of this as well. I think I've got the arcade OutRun on my Xbox, but if it doesn't play, or if I'm actually wrong and it's some different version of OutRun, like Turbo OutRun or OutRunners or whatever, then you'll see footage from the Genesis version of OutRun right about now. Alright folks, we're going to play OutRun now. Now, right before I did this video here, I tried to do the arcade version, and yeah, that did not work out too well. Basically, the arcade version would not run. So I'm playing the TurboGrafx 16 version, or really the PC Engine version. It was only ever released in Japan, but the PC Engine is basically the same thing as the TurboGrafx 16. Of course, this is via my Xbox, so it does look a lot like the arcade version, although I think the Sega Genesis version is better, but I'll be blunt with you guys, I was just too lazy to go back upstairs and set back up for the Genesis after the arcade version did not work. So, sound on this moves a lot slower than in the Genesis or arcade version, as far as the music is concerned. Uh-oh. But it still works the same. There's a checkpoint. Can't believe that Sega put games on competitor systems over there in Japan. I mean, not only did they do this, but they also let Sunsoft put some of their games on the NES. Those would come to America. It even says Sega right there. Those would come to America on Tengen cards. Some of them would, at least. This one has a similar setup, actually, as far as driving as the Master System version, where you gotta press up or down to go between the high gear or low gear. Yeah, I'm doing terribly. Anyways, though, this is OutRun. It was my favorite game back in the day. And still is one of my favorites on the Sega Genesis for sure. Anyways, back to the video for the conclusion now. And now we're back for the conclusion here. And basically, all three games that I showed here, Mortal Kombat 2, NBA Jam, OutRun, they've turned out to be some of my favorite games. Well, yeah, I can't really say that for Mortal Kombat 2. Really, Mortal Kombat 3 turn into one of my favorite games, because for some reason I love Cyrax. I like the robot, and you know, I know most people, I think, didn't like the fact that robots invaded Mortal Kombat. I loved them. I loved the green net. It was almost an evolution of Scorpion's Get Over Here. But also, like, you know, kind of freezing them in the bubble, so it was like mixing Sub-Zero and Scorpion to me, I guess. I don't know. And sometimes you get them in mid-air. Anyways, but, you know, NBA Jam really ended up being outshined by Tournament Edition. But OutRun, that hasn't really been outshined by, you know, anything, at least in its own series. But as I said, it got me to start loving racing games, and it even got me at least to curiously try Super Hang-On, which, you know, it's okay. I've got Super Hang-On my 6-pack on the Genesis, but, you know, I'll play that every once in a while. But really, you know, because of OutRun, I play racing and driving games anywhere from the Atari 2600 with Enduro and Pole Position and even Indy 500, all the way up to Test Drive Unlimited on the Xbox 360 and Gran Turismo 3 and 4 on the PlayStation 2. Or, you know, or Ridge Racer, either on the PlayStation 1 or Ridge Racer 5 on the PS2, you know. Pretty much any type of racer. Moto Racer. I'll have to do a video on Moto Racer at some point. Anyways, I'm getting off topic here. So once again, congrats to Classic Game Hunter on 2,000 subscriptions. You certainly deserve it, buddy. Always love all of your pickups, but I do want to say one thing. I do have one little thing I'm jealous on you about, and that's those little Yahtzees. You always find those little Yahtzees, and it seems like no matter how hard I look, it's like the PlayStation game Loaded with me. Whether it's Loaded or the little handheld Yahtzee, I can't ever find them anywhere. And you know, it's not that you're picking them up in my area, because you're in North Carolina and I'm in Ohio. But you know, you always seem to have them. Seems like you have at least one video a month where you have at least one of those Yahtzees, and it just makes me look and go. But in all seriousness, they're great videos. I always love watching them, and I hope everyone else loves watching them too. If you guys don't know who Classic Game Hunter is, make sure you check him out. I will link to his video below, and of course this video will be the response to his 2000 sub contest video. And if you are subscribed, make sure that you enter into his contest. He's giving away some sweet prizes, including a boxed N64 and a boxed Dreamcast, and I think he mentioned a Flashback 2 as well. But I'd probably go with the Dreamcast, because I don't have a Dreamcast, if I win, which I probably won't. But that's okay. This whole thing's going to be about the memories of arcade. I can't wait to see all of your guys' video responses as well. And as always, I am the Atari 7800 Junkie. That is Zoe. Zoe, say bye-bye to everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone.
She's playing Mario Kart. That makes me so happy. And until next time, folks, take care.